Hey everyone, so I'm working on a new series because if you're familiar with my channel, if you're familiar with my videos, the few of you that are, you've seen that I do a lot of videos with vaporwave mixes. I do some of my own vaporwave. I do synthwave, and I have some music related gear, guitars, and whatnot. I have reviews of that up, and I want to do more. And I know I've got some some videos I did from the past year about some different things, liminal spaces and lucid dreaming. I want to do more existential things, uh, those type videos where we can kind of discuss that. I want to up the quality of that. Um, Maybe I'll actually write a bit more of a script. I do a lot kind of off the cuff. I write some down, but then I just sort of say what comes to my mind as well. So maybe we'll try some different things with that. What I want to bring up today, though, is the idea of some more media related reviews and topics. I'm a big movie buff. I love 80s movies. I love 90s movies. I love movies. I love the movies. But if you know me, I'm a big fan of all the retro things. It's a big surprise, I know. My channel is called Retro Mac, and it was called Retrospectations. So who would think that I would be into all of the throwback media? Anyway, so I'm working on a segment, a series, if you will, which would tentatively be called Cinematic Universe, Connected Universe, perhaps. And a theory that has been around the interwebs since probably the beginning of the interwebs, especially with the story that I'm going to share with y'all, is pertaining to the connections between Die Hard, the movie, the original Die Hard, and the series Family Matters. Now, many of you, if you've seen Die Hard and you've seen Family Matters, you're going to have these connections in your head already. Okay, we know what you're talking about, James. Reginald Val Johnson, Mr. Carl Winslow, plays a cop in Die Hard. And there's articles, if you Google this, you can find articles, all kinds of them, about how Reginald Val Johnson got the part as Carl Winslow from Die Hard, from playing the cop in Die Hard. And you can even find some pretty fun theories. The biggest one being, of course, that Carl is under like witness protection, that he's the exact same cop that he was in Die Hard, and he's just kind of living out his life as a beat cop after the events of Die Hard. I'm not really talking about that, though that's a cool theory. Go look it up. If y'all want me to talk about it sometime, I can do some research and actually, figure out what I would say about that, or just tell you all about it, and you can watch the video to find out about it. But what I'm talking about is a short blurb that used to be in Wikipedia. Now, this is a long time ago. It has to be at least 12 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, that I remember very clearly this being in Wikipedia. And everyone knows Wikipedia is not always the most reliable source for information. You got to check your sources. But back in the day, in like the earlier times of Wikipedia, and maybe even now, I think I haven't seen this happen lately. It was something that used to happen much more often. You could go in and change something on Wikipedia, and it would be posted there, and it would just be there for a time. And I think even at some point, because sometimes they'll have these little, I can't remember what the symbol is. I think it's a star, but they'll have a little star on the side, and if you look at it, it will say, okay, this bit of information, it doesn't have a source. It doesn't have we haven't checked it as a reliable source yet. Just a note to make sure you take it with a grain of salt. But I mean, for example, I remember back years ago, about 12, 13 years ago, I remember looking up something on Wikipedia from Google. And it was the birthday of a president or something, like Woodrow Wilson or something. I can't remember who it was. But it was one of those ones where you went on Google and it was his birthday, so you clicked on it and it took you to the Wikipedia article and it talked about him. And when I clicked on that little bit that day, it went straight to the Wikipedia article, and all the Wikipedia article said was Woodrow Wilson was an a-hole. That's all it said. I swear to you, it was there. It was on Wikipedia. It was on the World Wide Web. And I showed my roommates, I remember. And then a couple minutes later, it was gone. And the whole article about this historical figure was back on Wikipedia. I don't remember if it was Woodrow Wilson. I couldn't tell you who it was, but I just remember that was something, somebody had put that on Wikipedia. And stuff like that used to happen all the time. It used to be a very quick changing landscape. And and when I say all the time, I don't mean every day. I mean, I remember articles on Wikipedia changing very quickly, and then they got the moderation up, and now it's better. You can look up how reliable it is and try to gauge that for yourself. But anyway, I remember there being a short article in Wikipedia, and I think a couple other places. I think it was on TV Tropes at one point. And if you if you haven't been on TV tropes, that's a huge rabbit hole that I'm sure other people have covered. I'll have to look, because if not, that would be a great thing to cover. I'd have to write out a lot, but so there was this idea or this claim that originally in early scripts of Family Matters that it was going to be a official spin-off of Die Hard. Now, some of you might know that Family Matters actually is a spin-off of a show. It's a spin-off of Perfect Strangers. But apparently, as this little article claimed, the original idea was that Carl would be playing the same cop that he played in Die Hard. It would be the same universe as Die Hard, and that they had even approached Bruce Willis and talked with him about coming on the show occasionally for a cameo, like a Christmas episode, which would be very fitting because Die Hard, Christmas movie, takes place on Christmas. That he would have that past relationship with Carl and that he would make an appearance on a Christmas episode, maybe a couple more, and that they would make it have that kind of, what's that word, tertiary connection. So my question to you, I guess I have two. One, does anybody remember this? Or am I just crazy? Because I remember clear as day, more than I remember certain things about the show. And I watched all of Family Matters at one point. I've seen every season. I think it got really great during the last couple seasons, honestly, when it just kind of leaned into its sci-fi elements, and you had like Stefan splitting off of from Steven, and you had Steven turning into like that Bruce Lee variation, and all those different variations like every other episode or something. But you know, maybe you were more into the like sitcom elements or something. But yeah, I always found that to be an interesting idea, and I can't find anything about it anymore. And that was, you know, when I was younger, before I had really read up on the like origins of the show and how it was a spin-off of actually Perfect Strangers, which, I mean, is very, like, it doesn't matter. It's even less than like knowing that King of Queens is a spin-off of Everybody Loves Raymond. You know, Raymond shows up on the show every once in a while. I think maybe Balky might have been on the show. Been on Family Matters once or twice. Yeah, I do not know. But so I want you to let me know if you can think of this ever being a thing, if you remember it being a thing, because I absolutely do, but it is not there. It is not there. Yeah. So let me know. And the other question that I have for you is, can you remember any other tales, any other stories of things that were in Wikipedia, that were there for everyone to see, presented as fact, that aren't anymore? All right, everyone. I've got a lot of things planned, and we'll see what happens. Please like and subscribe if you've gotten this far. Thank you.